Are you dreaming of living in a French village, maybe in a great chateau, but you're stuck in the suburbs in a tract home? Well, For Your Home has some great solutions on how you can bring French style right into your home. Coming up next today on FYH.
For Your Home is made possible by
Anderson Hardwood, committed to producing distinctive, environmentally responsible hardwood flooring while helping to create a better planet for today and tomorrow. For more information, go to andersonfloors.com. Anderson, naturally.
and by Ames. Ames True Timber has offered innovative landscape products since 1774, providing non-powered lawn and garden tools, wheelbarrows and lawn carts, watering products and decorative accessories, including planters. And by
Custom Home Furnishings Academy, where the professionals learn to sew window treatments.
It's so great
Hey,
to see
Vicki.
you.
Thank you for
darling.
coming. Bonjour.
Oh, bonjour. I know. I feel like I just arrived in France. This is so beautiful here.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, you know, we're not actually in France. We are in Charlotte, North Carolina, and this is my good friend Leo Dowell, and he is an incredible designer who has created this look of France right here in the middle of the city. Tell me about this concept, Leo.
Well, the whole concept basically was to go back in time, do a village concept. Instead of mowing all the trees down, doing straight streets, we meandered through a little village. And the old houses would have been built around a water source. So we have a French fountain and a pond in the middle, and all the houses are facing into that water feature.
And there's only 3 houses.
It's a 3-house subdivision.
I love that. I love that. Now, it has quite a unique entrance into this area. This starts the tone right at the road.
The entrance actually came from the Palace of Versailles, but it's not a palace entrance because Marie Antoinette wanted to escape court life and have a more casual life, so she built a little farm. It's right next to the palace. And so we copied the entrance to her little farm.
Well, you know, she was always such a farm girl at heart, right? Well, let's take a great walk through here and see some of the other features that you've incorporated.
Okay, great.
You know, Leo, I love this pond here. Tell me the story about that.
Well, we wanted to do a little Monet's pond, if you will. So we did the little pump house that's feeding the water into the pond.
Okay.
There's actually probably 100 fish in here.
Ooh, time to go
then
fishing.
The little built-in seat is so we're inviting people out and the
be
kids.
A community.
So they'll say hello to each other, they'll know each other, you can fly, kite, fish.
And I love all the different types of surfaces we're dealing with here. We have pavers, then we have stones.
Yeah, this is actually like a river stone, but this is a paver made out of concrete that anybody could do in their garden.
Very
and
affordable.
It has pea gravel in between it. There's a walking trail around the pond out of pea gravel.
And that's the most affordable surface you can have, and it's very green too because it goes, the water drains right through it.
Yes.
Very good.
And
well,
the driveway is interesting because it looks like cobblestone, but this is actually concrete pavers. And it blurs the line between what a driveway and a sidewalk is.
Okay, so it doesn't isolate you into areas. And then we have a bridge. Is this a real bridge here?
This is what I call a faux bridge.
A faux bridge. Okay, tell me why.
Somebody one time said, you're like Disney, and I said, well, that's probably a compliment. But I said to the developer, let's build a bridge. We got to have a bridge. And he said, well, it takes so long to get that passed through the state because the water going underneath it, the support. And I said, no, let's just mound up the dirt, put timbers on top, have water on both sides to pull off the illusion that it's a real bridge, and cars can ride across this.
Well,
you could do that in your own garden.
You could. You could have a little walking path right over it, and this pond is lined with a rubber liner, so I mean, it is something you can create to add that water feature to it. And I love the gravel walkway, like we said, it's so soft, it blurs the lines, and you know, by making it meander around, you know, you could take out your old cement sidewalk at your house and put in that gravel, and it'd be affordable and really make some curve and movement to it.
Sometimes it's actually less maintenance. We didn't use a lot of grass here just because of that. It's because of the maintenance factor. The more natural it is.
Well, you know, the outside is really charming and it's really beautiful, but you know what I want to do? I want to go in that house.
Oh, we can't go in there.
Why?
Yes, we can.
Oh, come on. Let's go see it. Leo, I absolutely love the second floor of this house. You know, it's a new house, but it has such an old world feel to it. That's what I love about it.
It's made to look like it's 200 years old, although it's brand spanking new.
Boy, it's gorgeous. And speaking of gorgeous, this hall treatment is fantastic. Now, how did you create that effect?
Well, what we did is we hung a 17th century French tapestry that I bought at the flea market in Paris.
Of course.
Of course. And an old vintage mirror is hung over that, which gives you a layered look. It's making a statement that we've collected this over a period of time.
Okay.
Then we put a 19th century French carved table underneath. It's been gilded. And put the chairs here just to give you that layered look that you've collected this over a period of time. It didn't come from one store.
Okay, now remember, today we're going to try and take this fantastic French look and bring it right into your own home so that people can get that same look. So how could we do that?
Well, you could take an old piece of fabric, maybe your grandmother's draperies.
I love that Scarlett O'Hara approach.
And depending on the style of the house, you could use a quilt.
Okay.
But any antique piece of fabric, you might find one at a flea market. Sometimes we'll take a new piece of fabric and tea dye it and stain it just to make it look older.
Okay, so you'd hang that on the wall. And then the mirror, what would we do for that for an old one?
Well, you could, even an inexpensive mirror, you can age. You can take glaze, like a burnt umber glaze, and go over it. You could sand scuff through it and give it that dusting of the centuries, just like the real antique.
But what we would never want to do would be?
You wouldn't want to hang a brand spanking new mirror on an old piece of fabric, because then you're contradicting that aged, dusting of the centuries look that's accumulated over a period of time.
You know, Leo, you have this beautiful marble-topped antique table here. Could I get that same kind of look if I used like maybe a metal or wrought iron table with like a piece of wood on top of it? Yes,
you certainly could. The style of the table doesn't have to be the same period or style as the rest of the items. It just has to blend with them.
Okay.
So if you have a wrought iron table that has a little bit of age to it, or you could age it yourself, you could even put a piece of marble or wood on top of the wrought iron table and achieve the same look. That's actually a good look because you're bringing the garden inside the house,
front foyer,
which is very popular.
I love the zebra rug on the floor. I mean, that is not what I would expect to see here setting under these pieces.
Well, the zebra rug is just for a touch of humor, and it is the unexpected. So instead of having a Persian rug or a fancy rug in here, nobody wants to live in a museum anymore. So you don't want all period pieces. You need something unexpected and with a touch of humor that makes people relax and feel like somebody really lives here.
Well, I love that. And the floors now, are these stone floors?
No, this is interesting because this is a porcelain tile. It's about a third the price of real stone. But there's a lot of tricks that have been incorporated in this floor. One is the size of the grout line.
I notice it's much wider.
It's a lot wider, and there's chiseled edges on this tile to make it look like it was hand chiseled and it is real stone, but it's not.
Okay, so if I wanted to try to just replace the floor and get a French look in my foyer, I could do it by selecting a larger profile of tile.
Larger being one of the key things, because everybody's talked into smaller tiles when they're looking. And actually, the larger the tile, the larger the space seems.
Even if it's a small area?
Even if it's a powder bath.
Okay, great. So larger tile, chiseled edge, and then get the installer to make a wider grout line than he's used to doing.
Yes, you may have to twist their arms a little bit because it eats up more grout, but they will do it. And this is an epoxy grout, so we could actually spill wine on here.
And wipe it right up.
Never worry
about it. I like
about
that. You know how I like my wine. Now, the dining room, love it. Got to tell me about these doors.
These doors are from an old French hotel. We found these in a salvage yard in France, and they're from the 19th century, hand carved, and they came off an old hotel.
Now, they were hand carved in 19th century, so that means there was no electricity then? So they would all been carved by hand tools?
No electricity, no power tools, no electric light bulbs.
So lanterns and hand tools did all of this work.
All handcrafted.
And great craftsmen. Now, one of the other things that I love about this is the beautiful casement. Is this new, old, and the jambs? Is everything exactly the way you found it?
Parts are new and parts are old. The most important parts, the carved doors, the casing, all came with the doors. The jamb has to be fitted to a new house on site, so that's new, but with stain to match.
Yeah, the staining is absolutely beautiful, of which these are stained doors that we have here, but they're in the same room where we have painted doors and painted moldings. I love the contrast of that.
Yes, that's one thing that I think the Europeans were ahead of their time on, is they didn't worry about matching things so perfectly. So they might take an entrance to a grand room, whether it was a bedroom or a dining room, and play up that entrance by putting a spectacular door there, maybe even staining it or painting it. But other doors could be simpler and pared down. Maybe they were going into a closet or a storage area.
So in your own home, if you want to get a great look around and find one of the doors in your house, or replace it with something that's really fabulous that you find at a flea market or an antique shop.
Exactly.
And do a nice color to it or a stain. It'll be a real nice French look.
Yes, I don't think you have to worry about every door in your house being the same.
Well, I love that. Now, this set of doors have got to lead to a spectacular room.
Let me show you.
Okay. Oh, Leo, I love this room.
Isn't this pretty?
This is so beautiful. It's so French.
Well, it should be, because we did buy it in the south of France.
Of course you did.
And the story is, it was from an old chateau built in the south of France. It was torn down a couple hundred years later, and all of this paneling, which is called boiserie in French, is one of the only French words I know, was salvaged. And these rooms were bought before this house actually started being built. And we built these rooms around this paneling.
Oh my goodness, and you just put it back together? You didn't know how it would go back together, but you just sort of laid it out and created it?
Well, we knew how.
Because, they had these instructions?
Well, no, it did not have instructions, but the builder was with me in France when we bought the room, and I said, this will go back together to fit this size room.
Okay.
And where there's an opening in the wall, we can either make an opening again or a window or a doorway.
Okay, now doorways in here, it'd be kind of hard to find doorways in here.
Well, the French had a sense of humor, which I don't think we still understand, but they did secret doors, they did asymmetric things, like there's a secret door over here in this wall.
And that leads to where?
That goes into a little butler's pantry, which I want to show you later.
Okay, and that door over there would lead to where?
This door goes into a fabulous kitchen, and I hope somebody's in there cooking for us.
Oh, I hope so too. And that set of doors right there?
This set of doors actually looks like you're going into another room, but since the doors came with the room, I said to the builder, I said, that's our window treatment. So actually, when you open those doors, that is the window treatment. You don't have to have draperies.
Oh, I love that. Now, this is a big room, and it could become very cold and sterile if you had a dining room table, but you've broken up the space by using 2 dining room tables here. I love that look.
Yes, we've had a lot of people complain over the years that had large dining rooms, that they only ate there at Christmas or Thanksgiving, and somebody was at that end of the table and somebody was at the other. And so how could they use their dining room again? So by breaking it up into 2 tables, you can have the children over here, or you can have a tea party over here, or if you're just having breakfast, you feel more comfortable by using.
Well, I love that. I mean, I could sit down. You could even use that as like a home office at that end if you wanted to sit down, maybe work on a laptop or whatever, and really make it much more usable of a space in here.
Yeah, I think that's a really important key is you can put a sofa on one side of the table. In this case, we've used a stone table just to deformalize. But you can use dining rooms again if you make them multi-purpose rooms.
Yeah, look at not what it says on the blueprint, but how your family lives.
Forget the label.
Let's go see that great kitchen.
Okay.
This is a charming space, Leo. I just love it. The great soaring ceilings and all the light that's in here, but where's the chef cooking dinner for us?
Just my luck. There's never any food.
I know. It's always just empty house after empty house.
That's right.
Now, the first thing that I notice in here in this kitchen is that nothing matches all the different woods and finishes.
Well, that's there's good reason, because back in the old days, whatever that means, in Europe, they had pieces of furniture in their kitchens. They did not have cabinet companies that were all mass manufacturing cabinets.
Built in everywhere.
Built in everywhere. Things connected and having to meet perfectly. So the furniture makers in the villages made the pieces. So you might have an armoire in a refrigerating armoire, or you might have a free-hanging shelf on the wall, or a cabinet that wasn't a built-in. It just hung separately on the wall.
Now, one of the things we're talking about today is how our viewers can get that French look in their own home. So if they wanted an island, but they don't have one in their existing kitchen, but they had room, they could just go out and buy a nice piece of furniture for that space.
That's right.
And use that. Maybe have a different top put onto it, or
you could put a different top on a piece of furniture. It could be a wood base with a marble top. In this case, this is a metal top. It's made out of zinc. This is brand new.
Oh wow, but it looks as old as some of the great antiques that we have in here. And it's very durable, very easy to care for.
You can cut on this. What's the worst that can happen? You just wax it again. This is a colored wax on here, brie wax. And
love that.
You just can't hurt it. You can set a hot pan on here. It's not going to burn it. It's not going to explode.
Okay, so zinc is a great material for that. Now, this area here, I'm seeing this constantly in new homes where you have this look. Tell me about that.
Well, this whole story is, I hate to say the 18th, 19th century, I say that all the time, but back then they cooked on a fireplace. So in those homes, this would have been a fireplace. They would have been cooking on the fire. There were no stoves, there were no ovens, it was a fireplace. So the hood to the fireplace actually got the fumes out of the house.
Was the chimney that went on up.
That was the chimney.
So we're just trying to recreate this in all of our houses now with this type of look.
We're just repeating it with the modern conveniences of today.
Leo, this is so pretty. I love it. But what is it?
It's a little shop.
A shop?
Yes.
What kind of shop?
Well, you see above the door there?
It says Motre Omega. That would be Omega watches?
That's right. It was a little watch shop where they repaired watches and clocks. And it came from the most famous boulevard in the world, the Champs-Élysées. It was torn down in the 19th century. I found it as a salvage yard.
Gosh, I gotta go to this guy's salvage yard. That's all I can say.
And it's turned into the most beautiful pantry you'll ever see.
And it's gonna have room for storage. Come on, let me see it. You know how I love dishes. Oh, Leo, this is so cute in here.
This is the retail clock shop that now we've turned into a pantry.
I love that repurposing from something from a commercial aspect to a residential aspect.
Yeah, isn't that fun? And you'd never think about it, but all these little storage compartments, like look in here, you can put your silver. This is where they kept the watch parts and the things to repair the clocks with.
Oh, that is excellent.
Even if you want more space, more counter space, you can pull these little surfing surfaces out.
These would have been maybe where they worked or displayed something or show it to it.
The chairs sitting there and they're working on a watch.
Oh, that is so great. And you're right, you could store a lot of dishes in here, and I guess you could add more shelves to them if you wanted. Look, so much fun to explore in here.
Isn't that cool? Because you can put your placemats in the left, all the tablecloths.
And all your napkins, and you could see it and all be here for you. Well, you know, if I had this kind of storage at my house, maybe my husband Chris would stop fussing about me buying so many dishes, because I could store them somewhere for a change.
You have room and you don't have to keep all this in the kitchen anymore.
Well, you know, I know exactly what to do with this space and how to fill it up with my collection of dishes, but what I want to know is, how are you going to fill up that big empty room out there?
Let's go work on it.
Okay. You know, Leo, this is what always throws my viewers. I get a lot of emails from them going, I've got this big open house and I don't know where to place my furniture or how to use this space.
Yes, I've heard that many times, and but I've got some great plans for this room. And when you see it done, it'll all make sense.
Okay, so instead of us telling them about it, let's show them how we're going to do it.
Okay, this is going to be fun.
All right, come on. You know, Leo, I've got to say, I'm totally amazed. I did not think that we would have enough space in here for the table, the chairs, and this great bench.
Yes, well, you know, it's putting the sofa back in the kitchen again.
I love that.
And we've talked before about, you know, having to take walls out when you're remodeling between the kitchen and the family rooms so more people can be part of the scene in the kitchen.
That's where they want to be anyway, is in your kitchen.
So this way, this house started from the blueprint, so we left that wall out intentionally, knowing that there would be a breakfast table here.
And you know, if you're finding at your house, every time you give a party, everybody's crowded in the kitchen and no one's using your dining room or no one's using your family room, maybe you want to call a contractor and have them take a look. Maybe you can just take out that wall and really open up your house and give it a new, fresh look. And if it's a load-bearing wall and you can't take it out of there.
Sometimes you can arch it, put a header across the top, or even if you have some doors that could be removed, you might just take those doors off and then it'll invite people in from the kitchen.
More open flow to that area.
Yes.
And this table is just a beauty. I love this.
This is old parquet flooring that's been recycled and made into a table.
So we're literally just going to be eating off the floor.
You're eating off the floor.
Love
and
it.
this also has two leaves that slide into this, and you can make a 9-foot-long table.
And by taking out that wall, or not having a wall there, you could go right on into that room.
You've got the room to entertain right here. You don't even have to go to the dining room.
I got so excited at Leo's that I decided I just have to have a touch of France here in my own home. So I asked my friend, Kate Houston, to give me a hand with transforming my front entryway. Well, we looked at the designs that you dropped off earlier in the week, and Chris and I went through them, and we both found one we liked, except Chris was wondering, the one we picked out has 4 bars in it, and we would like for there to only be 3 bars in it.
That is no problem at all. All the doors are custom, and if you wanted 2 bars on it, we could do that for you, but I think 3 would be perfect.
Okay, that's what I love about it, when you get something custom and it's all your own and unique.
And another thing I would suggest doing is maybe changing the glass panels to an arch to kind of bring out an eyebrow. Yeah, even though it's a flat top up there, change the panels to just an arch and kind of give it another pop there.
Okay, I'm excited. So now we have to pick out the color of our door?
Right. I know you were talking about black, but I really would try to go with either this dark copper there, burnt copper is what it's called, or this bronze.
You know, I like the darker.
I think I do too.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Not just black, that's too flat. This has some good spark to it. I like that. And you've got some great glass samples.
You've got to pick those out. You look through those and see if you see something you like.
Well, I think this is too transparent, this new French antique.
Right, you want a little obscurity there.
This is really pretty. I like this
Either one of
piece.
those, the seedy or that is seedy Baroque.
You know what? I like this because it looks more like hand-blown glass. And that's more of the French look, real age that we want. So let's go with this and with the bronze. Now, here's the next big question. How soon can I have my door?
It takes about 6 to 8 weeks from the time that you sign off on the CAD and you approve it and everything. I'm going to get that CAD redrawn for you so that y'all can look at it and make sure you like the placement of those bars. Paul needs to come over and measure, and he will measure to the 16th of an inch so that when he pulls this unit out and puts it back in, it'll fit like a glove.
I love that guy. Such fabulous work. I love the furniture you selected for this space.
Well, thank you. And I'd like to thank you again for having me on your show and letting me share my work.
Oh, it was certainly my pleasure, and thank you for this little tour of France that we went on today. Now, I hope all of you found there are simple little ways and big ways that you can add a touch of France to your home, whether your home is 500 years old or 5 years old. So next time on For Your Home, you're going to be visiting my kitchen, and I'm going to show you how I am going to fall in love with my home all over again. Hope you make it a date to join us.
Vive la France.
If you would like additional information about today's guest or project ideas, please visit us on the web at foryourhome.com. We will do our best to help you out. For Your Home is made possible by
Shaw Floors offers distinctive flooring options to fit a variety of decors. Shaw strives to have a positive impact on the environment by producing recyclable products like Anso nylon carpets and Epic hardwoods. Shaw, where great floors begin.
And by Ames. Ames True Timber has offered innovative landscape products since 1774, providing non-powered lawn and garden tools, wheelbarrows and lawn carts, watering products and decorative accessories, including planters. And by
Custom Home Furnishings Academy, where the professionals learn to sew window treatments.